There's a new sheriff in town. His name is Primmie. Why does Primmie have such a high headshot percentage? How does he get his headshots? Well, today we're going to be looking at Primmie's VOD to be able to figure out what certain skills he's developed to be able to increase his headshot percentage and be able to help you guys rank up in games. Let's take a look. I've isolated 3 major skills from looking at this VOD review today, and I want you to pay close attention to his movement, specifically how he crouches in the gunfights. There's a really interesting reason why he decides to crouch in these gunfights. I also want you to look at his crosshair placement. There's a lot to be learned, and one of the things I always recommend to students, when you're watching a pro, invest a little bit of time into just observing where the crosshair is placed at all times. There's certain map markers, which is skill number 3, that you're going to identify in this VOD as well, that you can start immediately adapting into your gameplay and see way better headshot results. One thing that you'll notice a lot with Primmie is that he likes to drop into a crouch when he's peeking into an angle of where a person probably knows what they're going to be. So if you watch right here, this is one of those functions for the crouch. He does a small little hop crouch as he's peeking around the corner to make it a little bit harder for his opponent to hit his head. He knows that this Cloven situation knows where he's coming from. You probably want to throw off some crosshair placement in the situation. Most players are going to be holding the headline right here, so opening up with a crouch right here to lead into this gunfight makes it a little bit more simpler for him to dodge a shot. And of course, because he's done that little crouch, he does only shoot the shoulder here, but it's enough to be able to get the Cloven situation. This is another really basic one for everyone who's in any kind of rank at all. There are indicators throughout the maps, and Icebox is no exception to this. It's one of the easier ones to look at. You can see this line right here pretty much lines up exactly as a marker for your headline. You can find these all throughout pretty much every single map. So this one you'll see a lot with Primmie. He's going to be lining up these lines in particular to be able to eliminate the Y-axis aiming. So Y-axis aiming is anything up or down. He wants to be on that straight line all the way. I highly recommend going around all your maps and trying to find these specific markers so that you have an idea of where you should be placing your crosshair at all times. This will significantly increase your headshot percentage. Again, just like such good crosshair placement, and just again, look at all these markers that he's hitting here. Right, so if we go back just a little bit, first thing, opening up with the Leer to throw that out, that ends up getting a little bit of a chance for him to shoot. He's got this like pretty much perfectly in line. I think there's actually a marker right here. If you see it, there's a fate line right here that he's going to be going off of. And then the next one that's really cool is this line he's going to see in a second once he comes around this corner. Again, for anyone who's on the belt line, boom, headline. All the way across here, pretty much in that angle, makes it really easy for you to know where that head's going to be based on this indicator right through here. Okay, so again, 2 amazing lines that he has taken, and easily finds the headline based on where the opponent is standing in relation to markers on the map. And this, again, you know, over and over again, whenever you see him taking a fight down these A mains, it's just so simple to see that he's using these markers almost religiously. There it is again, right? This whole line right through here. All head level, all the time. So this orange line right here makes it real simple for him to just have an idea of where to go, where to peek when he's taking his fights. And obviously he's playing some ranked, just being a little bit aggressive right now. But you can see the confidence of just knowing where that crosshair needs to be at all times. We're about to see another example of Primmie using his crouch key in the middle of a gunfight to throw off the opponent. Now this is something that he does quite frequently. He will tap his crouch key commonly to be able to keep this character moving while he's in a gunfight, and also start tapping his rifle. So watch this gunfight right here. He's constantly in between his shots tapping his crouch key to throw off the headline of the opponent, which again on Icebox is an important thing to do because everything is headline. Everything's pretty straightforward. So if you're able to keep changing your head elevation, you make it incredibly difficult for them. But the cool thing here is that in between his shots, he's tapping that crouch key, and he's confident enough with his movement that he's able to kind of just keep that line, knowing again where that headline is. Based off the box right here, we got a pretty good example where he needs to be looking, where he needs to be holding to be able to find that exact headline. So again, using those markers has us all down to muscle memory. When you're playing Icebox, you need to go through the map and make sure that you've got these good markers all the way through.
Still in sight. One enemy remaining.
Again, look at this. Look at this. The craziest movement. Don't try this at home. Obviously, using the Leer allows him to now move into this space, so that's what you want to be doing. You don't want to just jump right into this. But now look, as he comes back around, look where headline is. right away, the head goes in between these lines right here. So if you're coming around the side, you're trying to be aggressive on attack, for example, you're looking towards screens, you're not really sure where you should be aiming, there's your marker right there. These lines are all throughout this map on A site especially, and it's very easy to be able to isolate headshots just by doing so. If you were playing from Snowman, what marker would you use to be able to line up the head? Well, I can see a very, very clear, distinct one on the bomb site. And if you said that your marker is going to be this line right here, you're probably hitting a lot of headshots in Icebox. Now watch how he uses this exact lineup as he goes around to clear out yellow. Comes right in, primes a peek, right click, and doubles down into a crouch, using this again, this line right from here all the way across. Looking at this stuff is actually quite interesting to see how the pros will start using these lineups to be able to make the easiest shots possible out of their Vandals, out of their Phantoms, all these different things. And coming through using that lineup again, all the way across. And now the marker has changed to this line right here on the box. As he's moving around still here, maintaining that line. Now we're looking at this box right here, most likely. He's coming around here. He's got a pretty good lineup on that, and he's able to adjust upwards with a beautiful flick. The first kill is really the one that you want to look at the most, though, as that Sova was in a perfect lineup for a headline. This is one of my personal favorites. This headline right here is, I call it a special K, if you will, for Chris. The bottom tip right here, when you are down onto the 410 or on that line, typically would be the headshot line. Now, as he decides to move up and change his elevation, making it harder for the opponent, you can see that just below on this line, that is where that head level is. So where's the lineup on this one? Well, you can see the lineup on this one would be right here. Now, the cool thing about this angle with the smoke being played the way it is, it's one of those spots where it's going to throw off headline for the opponent, which gives Primmie that extra second to be able to land a shot on them and make them adjust into him, which makes it really easy for him to take a gunfight in the situation. So obviously Primmie is going to be trying to get one kill and then backing off. As soon as he heard something, you heard that, I believe it might have been Sova in this situation or someone else, drop down into jail here. You saw Primmie just slowly move his crosshair a little bit wider, because as soon as you hear something, it's always important to try to move a little bit further away based on your reflexes. If you hear nothing, he holds it close, and then as soon as he hears the drop right there, he eases it out into the open a little bit more. So he's matching for his crosshair placement for his reflex time where he needs to be to catch a running opponent in this situation. Let's see how he plays it. Gonna be aggressive into it. And now he has to back out. And the reason why he has to back out there is because two angles are now a threat. He has the pipe angle and he has the bottom angle. So this is actually a really smart play. And a lot of you who are my students would probably still hold this line regardless. It's always recommended 44 to back off and play the numbers, play the time, because in a minute and 3 seconds you are going to win. Unbelievable. You see he's put so much time into this, and again, he just knows where to flick down for the headline, this line right here. Just take some time on your own and experiment and practice this. Look, again, on the line, on the line. There's lines everywhere. This whole map gives you lines of where people's heads are going to be. Take some time out of your day and just practice these lines. Now let's go to the attacker side. Again, interesting lines that he's taking. You learn by going through and failing a lot. Now, one of the common peek outs that will happen around this time is maybe you'll see a jet, for example, jumping up onto the pipes, and this line right here would probably be representative of where that head level would be for that situation. This comes from experience. Again, tracking. Look at the slight movement up as he's trying to find the headline again. And even here, he was in a good spot, and I believe the headline is actually the tip of this right here. There's a little bit of a crouch going on in the situation, but that would, again, measuring everything out, the slight shift upward, using the markers of the lights over there. Not ready for that first fight, but he was ready for the second one. Just above that line of 410 is where you're looking for the head level. Let's go back as we watch this fight here. First one, so now you can see the lineup right here for the 410. Goes into a crouch. The opponent is very smart, otherwise they would have walked right into one tap right in that situation.
Placing sentry.
Line up right here with the crosshair again. Comes around the corner a little bit high, but is able to fix it. To see him use the crouch this much, it just really shows that this is a map that is all about headshots. And if you make yourself a little bit harder to hit, we talk about mass protocol all the time, but this is more of like a protocol of just like crouching and finding the right times when you're going into the threat lines to drop in on that crouch and to change the level. So really, Icebox comes down to, in ranked anyway, comes down to two things: making yourself hard to hit on the headshot, and you studying the map enough to know where those headlines are so that you're feeling confident where you need to place that crosshair at all times.